video.
Hmm?
Why is the floor wet? What is on the floor?
You didn't hear that conversation earlier?
No,
You're the one that told me somebody spilled something.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, well, somebody spilled something.
Tiana did.
Right. Well,
That's the only part I heard. I
Okay.
thought you said it was over there.
No.
Oh. What?
Hi.
What was it? Oh. What are you doing?
I'm recording.
Oh. Why would you say recording?
Because I'm just showing how, people aren't even on time for the video.
You know what?
This is supposed to be a movie review, and I'm by myself waiting for my review partner.
Stop the recording! I won't be in camera.
Why is that?
Because I look like garbage.
How did you think we were doing this?
Just recording.
Oh,
Just
audio?
You know when they have those recorders where it's audio, then it's got the speaker, or not speaker, like the radio waves.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I thought we were doing. So you can keep recording.
Well, eventually, yeah, that is what we're gonna do. It's gonna be a audio / video. So. So anyway, this is gonna be a movie review. We like to call it the daddy and daughter movie review. I'm dad, daughter's coming, and it's been a long time since we did something like this. I think, well, the one and only time has been for the movie Rise of the Guardians, which was in 2013, maybe even 2012, actually. Wow, it's a long time ago. I've got audio of that, not video. So, this is going to be video / audio for the future. Hurry up! And I've got baked chicken in the oven, so I gotta take care of that soon.
I like wearing my onesie.
It's coming in wearing a onesie.
Yep.
Nothing like being comfortable in your own home videos, I guess. Look like you just woke up.
I mean, kind of did. So.
Okay. No, that's not true. You're gonna have to scoot in some.
Or you could scoot over and stop mansplaining. You gotta come halfway. Whoa.
All right.
No.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I don't know how this is gonna work.
Where's the camera?
Hey, well, there we go. Eventually, I'm gonna get a camera that's better, so like everybody can fit in and all that kind of stuff. So, without any further ado, 4 minutes into this video, we are doing an overdue review of a movie that came out in late September, but it was made mainly for the October season, which is the movie It, based on a Stephen King novel. And we just figured, yeah, this would be a good start, because actually this was the first horror movie that we ever went to see together in the movie theater, which I thought was real cool. So waited a long time to be able to, take my kid to see a horror movie. So now that she's 15, we do all kind of stuff like that. Anyway, so boom, we about to do this. Yeah, so we went to see it during the day, so it wasn't like it was real late at night. I think it was on a Monday, I think, after I got off work. Anyway, So it based on the Stephen King novel. So let's get right into it. Like just briefly overall, let me just say first of all, I was kind of blown away. No, I don't want to say blown away. That's a little extreme. But basically, I hadn't even been to a horror movie in years, and it's kind of funny because I grew up loving horror movies or watching a lot at least, and it kind of like reawakened my liking horror movies because I really haven't been watching The Conjuring and Insidious and all these other stuff that's been coming out. Even though I hear a lot of people say they like them, and I follow movie reviews where people are always raving about some of these movies anyway. And I just never got around to seeing them, so it's kind of cool that we got a chance to go together, and it kind of, hey, nice move.
I was like, this lighting is complete horrible.
Hey, yeah, she's got a little production talent. So yeah, then now like really awakened me to start going back to these movies. It was like a good movie to get me back into, to remind me how cool some of these movies are. So anyway, so overall, yeah, we're gonna give a score at the end, but overall, yeah, it was pretty awesome. Yeah, I'm just gonna say that. So let's just start with what do you want to start with? Look, let's talk about our favorite scene, and these are spoilers. I mean, at this point, everybody's seen it. So, my favorite scene, or favorite jump scare, as she liked to call it. That's one thing. You know, I didn't necessarily think there were so much jump scares as just some really creepy moments. I mean, maybe because I'm older, it's hard for me to really jump scare at stuff, but I mean, in a way they did. It was like jumps on the inside though. So mine has to be I mean, first of all, the very opening of the movie by itself. I mean, not the opening, but the opening moment we saw, the opening sequence, seeing Pennywise right there. I was just like, I mean, almost immediately, I'm like, good grief, this is some creepy crap. I mean, the minute his eyes popped up from the sewer, and then that whole scene, I mean, he was drooling while he was talking, and the way his voice sounded. I mean, they did an excellent job with that, but we're going to get into more talking about Pennywise. So that alone, arguably, is my favorite scary moment of the movie, is just the moment that poor Georgie, meets Pennywise, you know? Besides that, is probably either the basement scene when what the heck was his name?
Billy? Georgie's brother?
Yeah, Billy? Really?
Georgie's brother.
Oh yeah, because there was Billy and Ben.
Yeah.
And Barb. So yeah, Billy went down. Yeah, when he went in the basement, you know, because he thought he saw Georgie running around the house. That
was so sad.
Yeah, that was top-notch creepiness.
Was so good.
That's the kind of stuff, you know, if I haven't been to a movie in a long time and I'm going to a horror movie, that's what I expect to see, some stuff like that. So, you know, you already knew it was coming. That's the funny thing, because you knew when he's in the corner in the basement talking all you know, sad and lonely sounding.
I wanna go.
Yeah, but the minute, you know, I mean, you knew it was coming. That he was going. There's something, and they had the preview where they showed Pennywise coming up out of that water.
But I didn't even then. I didn't really know where that was.
That was a connection to that scene.
And I didn't know that was the same scene.
Yeah,
I thought that was
I kind of figured it, but anyway. But the moment that happened, when he started, you know, what did they say?
You float. You'll float too.
You'll float too. Yeah. I mean, his face started like melting. Yeah, and just awesome stuff. So yeah, that was one of my favorite scenes. And then the way Pennywise went after him when he came up chasing him up the steps. I mean, stuff like that. That's just some creepy stuff. Because it's like, is that happening or is that not happening? Like, why is he in his basement coming up out of water?
Yeah.
Which that's a lot of the movie. When I've heard some people say they just couldn't get into it because they don't understand it. That's probably because they didn't read the novel or just familiar with even the 1990s movie. That, I mean, it's just supposed to be some kind of supernatural stuff that you don't know whether what you're looking at is real or not, which is what I like about the story in the first place, even the 1990 version or whatever. So that one, and then the other scene I liked a lot was the scene in the kitchen at that house when he was about to Well, yeah, he had whatever his name is, the little germaphobe dude.
We should have done character research.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we have names. Anyway, and then when he trapped him, and then basically everybody was there in that kitchen scene. And then when they got to hit him with the pole and it was sticking out of his head, and you got to kind of see a little bit of what he really was.
That was so disturbing.
Creepy. All right, you.
My favorite jump scare scene was the garage scene when they're all in the garage looking at the picture.
That was another.
What was that called? Like a flip ground?
It's a
like whatever that
it's
machine
projector,
is.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Slide projector.
Yeah, slide projector. And it was so normal, and then all of a sudden Pennywise was just showing up in the pictures as Billy's mom, and then he just came out of the wall. That scene, the only reason I really love that scene was because it did show the fact that there is no real borderline of reality, because that's what the whole, like, it thing is. He doesn't have a set type of, he's not predictable, that's how you say it, he's not predictable, because I was not expecting him to just show up in some pictures from, like, years ago, and then to pop out of a wall and start chasing after them, and to be giant, because he was massive. He was huge.
So yeah, that was kind of, I mean, yeah, if I'm actually really thinking about it, that might have been the creepiest moment, because right, how do you go from you're appearing in slides that you were not in, then they turned it off, they kicked it over, and it was still going, then he just appears through the
and then the pictures
screen.
Went away, and then he just popped up, and then the lights went out, and then he popped up again. It was like
going after Barb. So yeah, that's definitely a top one too, actually. In fact, that's probably up past the kitchen battle for me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you got another one? Anything else?
No.
Garage scene. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. Then opposed to that was the like worst jump scare scene.
Oh
I think they kind of like threw away.
Oh yeah.
I'd say the clown room.
Yeah, me too.
When they were because we know names. I was like, because we know names. They're in, my goodness, they were in the haunted house. Was it the second time they went in there? Or was that the first time? No, that was the first time. Because they have got all the equipment stuff. The second time the first time they went to the haunted house, and everybody had gotten separated, and then Victor? ? I don't know why I feel like his name is Victor. But he got separated into a whole different room. And why don't you just look up characters?
I am.
You broke it. And there was just a room full of like clown dolls and clown puppets, and then there was the missing poster of him, and then he walked over, and then he opened the casket.
Richie.
Wow, why did I say Victor? Richie opened the casket, and there was a little like doll of him, and then he closed it, and Pennywise popped up, and then there was just a cheesy scene of him running after Richie. I don't know why, but I feel like they could have done more with that.
Yeah, that's basically how, and I said that kind of shortly after we saw the movie, or whenever we first started talking about doing a review. It seemed like they could have done more with that. Yeah, but especially since you had a room full of clowns. Yeah, that really should have been kind of scary.
But then I was thinking about it because there's like different types of, like, this goes for a lot of things. There's different types of horror movies. There's the jump scare horror movie where it's literally just a horror movie and you just go to see it to get jump scared. Then there's the one that's in the middle, and I don't even know what to call it, but there's the one that's in the middle of like having a storyline and jump scares. And then there's the one that's literally just plot heavy, and they made it for plot, and they're not just trying to base off scaring you, which that's why I feel like it is. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be, this one's meant to be like a plot movie because it's the first one of many more coming. If you didn't know that, there's supposed to be, this is only chapter 1. So I could understand why they were trying to just base it off of a lot of theories first before they went straight into just jump scares, because we don't know anything about Pennywise at this point unless you've read novels. But you don't really know anything, so they have to go into the waking you up into the weirdness of him before they just start jump scaring you. So they do that with video games too. Like, there's video games where they're just made just to scare you, and there's video games that are like plot heavy, like The Evil Within or Resident Evil or Alien Isolation. I mean, they're made to help you think. Or
even
give me theories.
growing up seeing Friday the 13th, that's pretty much how it was, honestly. You didn't get into jump scares until now that you knew what he was.
Yeah.
Now every movie you're expecting to have some jump scares. And even with that, I doubt they're even going to go that far with this because, like you said, I think, period, it's meant to be a more psychological type of movie than just be jump scary anyway. So, yeah, we kind of agree. That scene was okay. I mean, it was cool that what did you chase him out of that room? I don't know.
He just chased him out the room, and the door just opened, and he just closed it. And I was like, oh, that was kind of like.
So, but the minute he walked in, there were clowns everywhere. I don't know. I just thought.
I figured it was gonna be major.
Yeah,
I thought that was gonna be like the climax of the movie.
Yeah. What's that? MVP.
You have it right there too.
Oh, I know.
Are you just looking at mine because mine has the basic ones?
No, yeah, because I'm just thinking maybe I wrote it out of order or something.
I don't know.
Yeah. Me. I didn't even put nothing down. I think. Who did I still want to say?
I said Ben. Only because because reality, if you took Ben out of the group, they would not have any information on him. Like, they wouldn't have the old map of Derry. They wouldn't have had the information about how it happens every 27 years and how a certain amount of things happen and a certain amount of catastrophes happen. Like, all of that played a major part in them not going after Pennywise. I feel like Billy would have went after him anyway. But having enough information going towards him instead of just going in blindly. Because it's like, you can't go into war without a battle plan. He created that whole battle plan type of thing. Here's the questions.
Yeah, I think I could agree with that. In fact, yeah, probably either him. I think I might have even been thinking Barb, just because.
Oh, at the end.
Well, obviously, yeah, she was the first one who basically said she wasn't afraid of him. So, I don't think she necessarily. Obviously, she didn't do that for the purpose of discovering that was a secret. She didn't know that. She just wasn't afraid of him. Yeah, she just wasn't afraid of him anymore. So, yeah. So that's why I would kind of give a vote for her. But I would say it was definitely between her and Ben, and just that she
Yeah, she didn't choose sides.
Oh, yeah.
When they had like temporarily split up, she was just like in the middle.
Yeah,
like,
she was kind of still trying to be the.
But I could understand why you
peacemaker.
wouldn't want to be. Yeah, just like neutral.
Yep.
That's a good trait to have. Because picking sides isn't always healthy.
I need to get my chicken.
You put a hole in the wall with a knife. Why didn't you just tell me to get it?
Hope I didn't overcook it. Anyway, so let's talk about the villain.
Okay.
Pennywise.
He gave me nightmares. I did start, like, I don't want to say hallucinating, but like there were some moments where I was just paranoid for no reason after seeing that movie, just because he's a pretty disturbing person. It's like he sickly enjoys killing people. From the beginning, when he was drooling, talking to Georgie, I was like, okay, he obviously enjoys this a lot. He reminds me of Jeepers Creepers. That's what I was trying to figure out. Because Jeepers Creepers is just really, like, creepy. Because he just be smiling at people and, like, sticking his tongue out. Like, that's what that vibe I got from Pennywise, when he's just, like, way too into the moment right
now. Yeah, I thought he was awesome. Like I said, this is coming from somebody who saw the 1990 version, and like, while I'm not like the biggest like just diehard lover of that, because even like Stephen King in general, I've always liked stuff I've seen from Cujo, Christine, Pet Sematary, Shining, The Shining. That's Tim Burton.
Yeah, that's where I get those two.
um, you know, there's never been a Stephen King novel. Oh no, I did not care for Children of the Corn. I don't know for whatever reason.
See that.
For whatever reason, I just thought that was stupid.
I don't
Even as a kid, I'm like, so
it.
it's about a bunch of kids killing adults. Why can't y'all just beat the heck out of these kids? Same way I felt about Chucky. Stuff like that, I just could never get with little kids being your main villain.
But Chucky's not a kid.
Wait, Poltergeist is not Stephen King.
He's just in a kid body.
Yeah, I don't care. He's still a doll. Come on. Anyway, so but yeah, for the most part, I'm a Stephen King fan, but not a fan. Like, so I've seen it from the 1990 miniseries, but I'm not like this person that die hard watches it over and over again and can remember everything about it. But I knew enough about remembering that was just a creepy, well done concept of a story. So when this came out, that was mainly part of the reason why I was really interested in seeing what they would do with a movie, and I just had this feeling, they were going to probably do something better or, pretty good with a movie almost 20 years later with technology and with just the way people write stuff now in movies is a little more, I don't know, more creative or something than what they do for TV. Because there was a little bit of a cheese factor to that 1990 movie miniseries. So, yeah, as we mentioned earlier about Pennywise, you said it perfectly, and that's exact words I wrote down. He's unpredictable. I just thought that crap was amazing. I was loving how every time you saw him manifest himself or in some form of attack, I guess you could say, it was always something different. I mean, he went from being in a clown, biting somebody's arm off, and dragging a kid away in the beginning, to then popping up as, well, I'm not saying it's necessarily in order, but just the thing that popped up in my head. Yeah, just appearing as a painting, appearing in a, whatever that thing that Mike first saw him in when it was like a meat locker or whatever he was. Well, I mean, it looked like it was his realm actually, because he had like the glowing lights behind him. Yeah. It was like, what the heck is? I mean, I just liked every time you saw him was under some new freaky circumstance. Like I said, him popping up in the basement. Like, how's he rising out of water in somebody's basement and then running after you? Hey, I actually look like him right now. You see that? Dang, I'm about to do that a couple more times before we're done with this. Because I was just getting ready to get into that, man. Whenever he did that crap, gosh, dang, that was some freaky crap, man. That's my favorite scary, just disturbing stuff. See how my face is blurring out when I do that? Like, dang, that was, whoever came up with that is freaking genius. So,
oh my goodness,
that was unpredictable, and then the thing we just talked about in the garage, yeah, all these different ways he manifests himself, or even when he was, well, this ties into my next thing where I said I have a small complaint about him.
Yeah, I knew.
Is when he but I was gonna say when he popped up at that house the first time with let me see, the Eddie, the germaphobe, picking up his little pills. I guess that's supposed to be, that was him, as a mutated, which that was freaky
gross,
too.
Undead.
That kind of stuff, those are kind of things I like to see sometimes too. And then, but he was chasing him, and then he just turned into him standing in front of balloons floating. Like he's always doing something weird to like mess with your head, kind of. So I just love that part. He was doing that in the 1990 version too. If I'll be honest, I don't have like real firm, vivid memories of that, but I'm pretty sure he was doing that kind of stuff, which we do need to go back and watch that though, to see the comparison. Yes, my small complaint would be the parts where he, in a way, whether it's the writing, the script, or whatever, the director, like some things didn't make sense when he would be silly, where it's like, how does he determine when he just feels like killing somebody or he wants to be silly? Because a perfect example is when he had that, and well, they were both times with Eddie. Man, maybe there's something to that now that I'm thinking about it. Because when he had Eddie in the yard, I mean, he basically let him run, and then he got to the fence, and he was sitting there stuck at the fence. And I mean, Pennywise didn't even get him. Like I said, that's when he was like yards. Right. Well, that's my point. Why does he just? How does he decide when he wants to just have a fear factor and just kill somebody? Why not just?
Your biggest one was with Stanley.
Well, I'm gonna get to that. No, that's not that big because we talked about that. I mean, you kind of made me understand it, but I'll touch on that. But yeah, so then he's like yards away from him, just standing there freaking him out with balloons floating in front of him. Like, why didn't you just kill him right there?
I want to bring up the balloon thing.
And then the other one was when he was in that kitchen scene I was talking about. Yeah, like because he had cornered Eddie. And he's just like, you know, grabbing his face like he was like being silly with him, is it? Because he's like, it's like he was mocking his fear.
Yeah.
But haven't you killed him right then? I mean, I guess he was having fun with it.
Yeah.
And then they interrupted him because then they, wasn't it Bill and Eddie? No, Bill and
Richie.
Richie. Bill and Richie popped up in the kitchen, you know, and interrupted him. You know, because he was saying I'm not real enough for you or whatever.
Yeah.
And this is right after he came out of that refrigerator all contorted. And like I said, yeah, you get the kid in the corner and then you're like touching his face, making fun of him. That part, and again, they did that in the 1990 version. I guess that's the way Stephen King wrote it. From they just kind of, you know, switching between that terrorizing stuff versus actually being terrible. You know. Even in the final fight by the little well and so, I mean, at some points he's acting goofy, and then the next minute,
I think he started getting aggravated though.
Well, maybe that's
he started
it.
Getting aggravated because he
so maybe there's certain parts of his psychology that he's not. I guess it's not supposed to make sense to us, but that's all I'm saying. It's like, who knows why he goes back and forth between ready to mercilessly kill somebody like he did Georgie. Maybe it's because Georgie's younger. I don't know. You know what I mean? Because he really never seemed to
I
be.
still think it has to do with fear.
Yeah, you're probably right.
There probably has to be a certain amount of fear when he can actually just straight up eat them. Probably, because with
and being
Georgie,
a littler
the second
kid,
he bit his arm off, you already knew he was like in shock and couldn't do anything. Whereas these are more, I don't want to say more mature, but older, more mature kids, so they probably have more to wear down their brains. It's a work factor of fear. And then your problem with Stanley, where he was the lady in the painting, and Stanley got separated from everybody else as soon as they went down the well, and then he was biting his face. And my dad was like, why is he just biting his face and not actually eating him? And I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then everybody came running in, and then he just scampered away and then was like behind the ledge and was like looking out. And you're like, why didn't he just straight up bite him? And then you're like, he doesn't have scars on his face. I was like, yeah, he does.
Hey, we don't have to bring that up because when you showed me that, okay, because I had totally forgot, because this is the second time we watched this when I brought this up.
Bites on
I had forgot that at the end they showed he's got bandages around his face in the end of the movie, so that's my bad. I had forgot that between the first time I saw it and the second time I saw it.
Oh, I should have asked.
So you're probably right. It probably has something to do with the fear factor.
Yeah.
But that would be my only small complaint with it, with Pennywise. Otherwise, great villain.
You can say it.
Yeah, I like calling Pennywise. So it makes it even funner. Yeah, I mean, great villain. Like
that was a good actor.
Like heck yeah, they made him into like, to me, he's about to potentially become like a top. Well, being reintroduced to a new generation, you know, a top, because some people probably already said that off the 1990 thing, that he's like a top 5 villainous character. I mean, I'm definitely sinister. I probably would not have said that about the 1990 Tim Curry version. This one, yeah, me personally, I like this one better. So, yeah.
Well,
what do you have to say about Pennywise?
He kind of took everything. That was a good actor. Like, he did really well, like, what's that called? Help me. When he performed something. Not, like, he did a good job blanking the lines and the...
Deliver.
Yeah, he did a good job delivering the lines and the actions in the movie. Like, I genuinely felt like he was an actual person, and, like, his actor was literally him. Like, I was genuinely scared. And, well, never mind. I'll give it that later.
Yeah, great choice of voice, the way he voiced him. And, again, the little mannerisms that he was doing, like, you know, looking like this with his eyes all sunken in. And, again, that drool thing, that's another piece of genius. Between the drool Which you almost wonder if that might have been an accident because he's wearing prosthetic fake big teeth. I mean, that may have been something that just happened while he's delivering lines in this. And they just said, "Oh, let's keep that."
Yeah.
But I have a feeling he probably thought of it because he
it
probably just knew that would look disturbing because it does look disturbing. I mean, you're talking to some sucker who's staring at you and their drool rolls out of their mouth. But anyway, between that and the little shaky face attack thing, genius, love it.
All right. Helps for a sequel, bruh.
Sequel, yeah. So we already know, you should know, that it ends by saying chapter 1. So that means there's going to be a chapter 2. Especially since like this book is probably that thick or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty huge.
So what I am hoping out of the sequel is that we get more on the what he is, and the why of what. Why is he doing what he's doing? Mm-hmm. And, which, I'm sure we're going to. I guess, if anything, I'm saying that's what I look forward to. I'm not going to say I hope they will, because I already believe that is what they're going to do. What choice do they have? So, yeah, it's going to be, I'm looking forward to seeing more of that. And then besides that, I want to get more of, definitely want to get more of Mike.
See, you loser. What? I was going to get to a whole thing about that, because I was like, well, you can finish first, because mine's
just briefly. I mean, if you saw the movie, obviously, he didn't really do that much. And it's like, he seems like he could have... I mean, obviously, there's a story.
Mine's gonna go so deep.
Since he's like an outsider to the rest of them, I'm sure there's more backstory or stuff that we could explore with him. But yeah, just in terms of having some good moments in the movie, I don't know. They probably felt like they tried to. And depending on what your perspective is, you probably thought they would. Like, the fact that he was the one being attacked when they first started having a rock fight. I think that was kind of a moment for him because, even then, even when they were messing with him, he never came across as a, like he was bullied. I mean, he was kind of holding his own and standing up for himself. But yeah, honestly, that's when I was watching that scene, it felt like, I mean, I guess this is supposed to be a cool scene. Yeah, it was okay. I mean, it was some funny parts about these dudes' reactions getting hit with the rocks. But it was kind of rushed, I guess is my thing. It's they kind of rushed that scene with the rock fight. And then, obviously, him being able to knock...
Henry.
Henry, of course. I can forget
Which I'm about to get into that.
Knocking him into the well, or whatever. That was supposed to be a little moment for Mike. But yeah, those were, they look like just little throw-ins to give him something to do in the movie. I'll put it like that. It seemed like more or less a way to make sure he had something. Fillers. Yeah, like he had something to do. Some scenes that made him seem significant, but I didn't connect with him like I did the other ones. So I'm thinking probably in a sequel, he'll kind of get a more prominent storyline.
Even though I already said Ben.
Yeah, Ben kind of got a lot though.
But that's what I'm about
to get into. Ben probably...
I'm about to get into this. Okay, so there's several things. Okay, I want an explanation on what you said, what he is. Not what he is, but why. Because I don't understand the balloon thing. Because at the beginning of the movie, it seemed like whenever a balloon popped, he was automatically going to kill you. But then there was the scene where he had Eddie off after the weird zombie dude came after him. He was by the fence, and then all 10 balloons popped, but he didn't kill him. So I thought that was significantly meant he was going to kill you when the balloons popped. So I just want to understand the balloon thing. Then getting into
which they probably won't even explain.
Yeah, they probably won't explain. Then I'm kind of mad that they brought in the deadlights so early. Because I knew what those were, but I don't know a lot about them. So now I feel obligated to do a whole bunch of research before the second movie, where now I feel like they kind of gave away too much. Because, yes, I think that was clever to use the deadlights on Beverly, but I kind of wish they just showed a small portion of that scene where he was showing her the deadlights.
It's
whatever.
Barb, actually.
Barb? Why? No, it's Beverly, you loser.
It's Beverly.
It's Beverly. Barb is the name of what's her face from
Barb
freaking
from
Stranger Things.
Which we should do a review. We're actually on only episode 4 with Stranger
Things. I've been trying not to watch it without you, so I'm probably gonna start watching it without you.
I mean, just let me know when you're gonna watch it. We'll watch it.
Okay, but I kind of wish the scene of him showing Beverly the deadlights. I kind of wish they cut it shorter than they did, and they just showed like it going deeper in his mouth, and then it cut to the kids like running in or something. Maybe because now I just know what they're doing now. I'm kind of sad. Then, like what you said with Mike, I kind of hope they build more on the fear thing, because yeah, I got a whole theory on that. I don't know if we should get into that because this is a long video already. But the whole fear, they didn't build enough on Ben's fear. They didn't build enough on Mike's fear, even though I don't think they're really, those two are fears. I don't know what Ben's is, because I think he just has like some weird thing with death. Because after he's looking through that book, there was like the dead kid hanging from a tree, or like a head hanging in a tree or whatever. And then Mike's like PTSD from his parents dying in the fire, obviously, which we saw in the scene with Pennywise in the meat locker, and then the hands coming out like burned or whatever. And I kind of wish they built more off of the fear thing, but I'm glad they didn't do that too much too, and weren't just throwing it in our face like it's fear, fear, fear. Another thing, theories. I love theories. He knows this. I theorize a lot. So I'm glad they gave us enough to theorize. I don't even think that's a real word.
Yeah.
Or I'm not saying it right because
Yeah,
it just sounds weird when I say it. But like, there's theories that me and my friends have made about Beverly's fear and about what's his name? Stanley's
Stanley.
fears and Eddie's fears. Like, there's a lot of things going on there. And about Bill's fear, because I'm trained, thank you. Bill's fear, I don't really know what it is. Because he's just, Pennywise doesn't actually, like, he doesn't have a fear. I think Pennywise is just using the fact that he killed his brother as a tool to kind of manipulate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he builds off of just fear either. I think he works off of like sadness.
That's what I was getting ready to
and
say.
like sorrow.
I would say
he just uses all those emotions as a whole.
I would say that it's kind of.
It didn't seem like Bill was afraid of him. Well, obviously there had to have been some fear because I mean,
right,
a giant clown. But it wasn't his main thing that he was feeding off of Bill from. There was obviously some sorrow there or something.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another thing. And then, yeah, I kind of just hope they put more details into the plot, which obviously they're going to, but like about the deadlights and the fears of certain people. Like, I think Mike's fear was not living up to being his family or like his father, because there was a scene where he was supposed to kill the sheep. It didn't. His granddad was like, "Your father." He's like, "I'm not my dad." And I'm like, well, that kind of just struck a nerve right there. Obviously, there's some family issues, which is a whole nother theory that I've told him about. Do you remember that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the father. We say me and my friend said Pennywise goes after kids that have daddy issues. Because, like, Stanley's fear is his, I don't want to say his religion, but, like, he doesn't seem like he wants to actually be extremely Jewish, or he either feels pressured by his dad, being that his dad is the leader of the religious community. So that's why we said that the painting in his dad's office would represent his fear, because it's his dad's office. And then Beverly obviously had just a messed up relationship with her dad altogether. Then Bill's dad seemed a little uncompassionate when Georgie went missing, because he kind of just snapped on him. It was like, Georgie's dead and he's not coming back, that was a whole other thing. Mike doesn't have a dad. We don't really get to see much into Ben's family, so we can't really put that one in there. And Eddie, we don't even know where his father is. He's just with his mom, so that automatically implies that there's no father issue either.
Single mother. So.
Single mother. So that's not. And Richie's parents, we don't see much of either. So the only people that we don't really know of that is just Richie and Henry. He did not like his dad, which I didn't like Henry.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole thing with Henry being like possessed and killing his dad kind of bothered me.
Oh yeah. That
bothered me.
Yeah, that didn't go over.
It didn't read properly.
That didn't go over too well with me either, honestly.
But then my friend told me about the daddy theory, and I was like, oh, that kind of makes sense.
I guess.
Because like he didn't have a stable relationship with his dad, and his dad.
Yeah, I mean,
But I was like, I feel like that's his fault there, because he was being a delinquent, like. Nearly killed Ben by carving an H on his, well, he's gonna write his name, but he's carving an H on his stomach and stuff. Like, he just dysfunctional is his goal. I feel like that's all he's just searching for.
But yeah, going back to that, I mean, that's not really a complaint about Pennywise, but yeah, if there was any one of the things about the movie, any part of the movie scene or concept that didn't really go over well with me, although the scene itself,
But yeah,
again,
that
again,
really,
I love
really,
the
really
like
creepy.
out of nowhere. Even though I saw it coming, because when he walked in the living room, whatever, and his dad's watching this show that looks like his romper room or one of these
Yeah.
kids shows. I mean, I already knew the way they're sitting there talking, that kind of, because that stuff's kind of creepy anyway. We
Yeah,
like
I
people,
can't
like
stand
me
that.
and my siblings and my friends would, when growing up, we would make jokes like that. So that's why I probably would relate to this stuff, because we're kind of sick in the head too.
Yeah.
You know, like that's already something I would have thought of, like watching a show when they're on TV talking. Like, what if they really said something directly to you? You'd be like, wait, what? And you know, and then that's what
And then it
what
happened.
happened. And she,
It was
I
like,
mean, I already
"Kill
knew
him,
the way it was
Henry."
set
I was
up.
like-
You knew she was gonna look at the camera with this smile. Yeah, kill him. You know.
And then all
But
the kids.
so that part I
started
liked.
chanting
You
it, and I
know,
was like,
although yeah, but then it was right for that to be something that they decided to do. Like he's got the ability to possess a person that quickly and then make them do something, and then I guess he was possessed by him when he went to chase
go,
them down. Yeah, you know that.
Then it was like, what was that
But again,
building
it just
off of?
it,
Was that
right.
just like
He could
Ben
just
have a-
capitalize, I guess, on anybody's weaknesses.
Yeah.
I guess, and
I was like,
seeing that Henry was already an evil, freaking rotten kid in the first place, it was probably easier for him to just completely possess him. You know, that's a way to explain that.
yeah.
I don't
was like,
always need a lot of explanation for why stuff's happening. I'm just saying, you know, I don't know. That particular sequence
Concept.
of him, I'd have rather him popped up saying something to somebody just as
Yeah.
another scary moment rather than for it to be a moment where he possesses somebody to do something. But, you know,
Yeah, that
it's like well executed, but just the concept of it in the first place,
Yeah.
you know, that's not necessarily what I would have cared to see. But, yeah, so.
I was like, why did he have?
But there probably is something to the father thing.
But I was like,
Definitely.
maybe it's like, and I was like, maybe one of the kids had a slight fear of him, because like Mike and Ben had both been like terrorized by him,
By who?
by Henry. Mike.
Yeah, you think too much.
What? I am a theorist.
I mean,
okay?
yeah, I don't know. Okay, yeah.
I said maybe. I never even thought about that until just now. Like that concept just popped in my head. Yeah.
All right, so let's go on into anything else. Oh, franchise thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, work needed and actor thoughts. Yeah,
I kind of went all over that.
yeah. I mean, that's really easy.
All over
I
that.
think the cast
Oh,
was great.
yes,
I
they
mean,
have great
obviously, like I
chemistry.
said, oh, that was one thing I didn't say. Yeah, as far as what I want to hope to see in the sequel or expect to see is more of, like I said, more of Mike's story and then more of the chemistry, because the chemistry was great. I mean, except in a way Mike, but it's, you know, I understand because he
He's
didn't
not
get it.
even
Not
originally.
he it wasn't because they just didn't do much with him. Period. So you can't get chemistry with people you're not even really in a whole lot of scenes with. So now that he's in it, like officially, he's gonna be running around with him all the time. I'm sure we'll see more chemistry. But as far as like Richie and Eddie, they were hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one's a germaphobe, and the other one doesn't care, and they're both.
Richie's my favorite.
You know, they basically just pick at each other all the time, and it was good chemistry. All the actors did good. It's cool to see dude that played Richie, who was Mike from Stranger Things. You know, two different types of characters. So I'm impressed with his.
They are like complete polar
Yeah,
opposites.
I'm
That's
impressed
straight
with-
talent right there.
It's almost like Richie is. Now I'm forgetting his name from Stranger Things. You know, the one who freaking had the turtle, the one who's running around with the freaking alien right now, trying to love him. You know, he reminds me more of that character. The guy who's like a smart aleck, cocky, you know, always saying something inappropriate.
Dustin.
Yes.
Dustin.
You know, that was, you know, those are similar characters.
Yeah.
Completely.
Like that was. It took me off guard because I thought he was gonna play like an Eddie part,
Kind of
being
like,
silent, and then
I
he didn't.
thought-
And I was like, whoa.
kind of like I said, Beverly being MVP. I thought she was great, good actress, and
Can't believe we called her Barb.
yeah, and Ben was a good actor. So
Mm-hmm.
I liked it. No, that's the other part. You know, going off of the 1990 series, you know, they're gonna have to be adults at some point. So we don't know if they're gonna shoot right into them being adults, or whether the sequel is gonna still have them be young. So they're gonna have a challenge if they go adult wise to come up with the same chemistry amongst a whole different group of actors who are adults. But again, I hope to see my phone's ringing.
Decline with message.
Well, I'll just call it back. So, yeah. The franchise, yeah. I mean,
I'm ready for this.
It literally blew up the box office, so there's gonna be a franchise. You're gonna see more movies. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna be ready there for.
He knows. Oops, my friends
I'll be on board for.
I love theories.
See where they're going with it.
This
should
become
a huge franchise.
I love games that have theory concepts. I love movies that have theory concepts. I love books that have theory concepts. This has all of those because there's a book and a movie.
In this day and age, everything about.
Which I want that novel.
Everything. I mean, that's the new trend in movies, anyways. To have like big franchises now. Heck, we're about to go see one tomorrow. Thor, baby.
You're going to see it. Ew.
So we got. Come on.
Stop.
Hello. No. Oh, okay. Perfect. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Right.
I started singing the Jeopardy song.
Little uncle business there. Anyway, so
what, Kristen?
Uncle business. Yeah, so them doing a franchise off of this, I'm sure.
I'm literally so ready for it.
I mean, yeah, there's no question. I could see them getting to 4 movies. Who knows? Look at what they did with It's making me kind of think back to Hunger Games. Yeah, I was all in off that right off that first movie. I was all in. Yeah, 4th one was. Anyway, so overall score, I give the movie an 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh, I said 9. I said 9. Because like I said, all of the tantrum. They gave away a little bit too much.
So just say that on video.
I don't think I said that loud enough for them to hear. Unless your microphone's really good, but oh well. But yeah, they gave away a little bit too much for me. But like, I'm cool with it. I can get over that. So it was a 9 out of 10. And like I said, I kind of wish they did. Well, I didn't say that. I kind of wish they did have better jump scares. We kind of got into that, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I rarely can give any movie a 10 because then it's like, what do you have to strive for if you're already perfect?
Yeah.
Not that there can't be some, because there's some. If we were to do our superhero movie reviews, I got some 10s now. But I'd have to go backward. We have to go back and maybe I'd do a 2016 year in review type thing, or even 2017, because technically we've already missed a bunch of movies. We could have. I mean, we've seen them, but we missed doing reviews on them. But there will be a Thor Ragnarok review.
There will be like those will be like an hour and a half long, because this one singular movie review is 40 going minutes.
Well, you gotta remember I had
50 almost minutes.
50. I had a bunch of time while I was waiting on my co-host, so.
Which you could have stopped.
Hey, I'm just saying. Anyway, that blew it. So we got an 8.5 and a 9. So obviously it's a very good movie. So we liked it a lot. And I mean, heck, a lot of people liked it. It blew up in the box office. They said it's the #1 grossing horror movie of all time. So
why is it grossing? That's not.
And it should be. I mean, it should be.
My goodness.
So if you haven't seen it, go see it. You better probably already have. So hey.
If you haven't seen
Let's
it, then there's no point in seeing
wait
it
for the
because we've already
sequel,
spoiled everything.
I'm always up on it, so I'm sure we're going to find out pretty soon on when the date. They're probably going to have a date set for the sequel. They're probably going to start shooting next year. Well, yeah, this is already November, so I wouldn't be surprised by February they're already talking about shooting, or January. So.
Do not end it yet. Keep stalling.
Okay. And as far as my 8.5, it's probably just because of those things that I pointed out. Like a little bit of the timing. I guess is really what I'm saying. Those moments where they made Pennywise act silly, the timing seemed odd. Like I'll even go with the one where he was in the yard with Eddie. Yeah, Eddie.
You have your phone. You can pull it back up.
I could even see that. But when he was right in his face, captured, pinned up against a wall, and he's acting all that part is just like, what are you doing, man?
I think you literally said that too at the end. You're like,
I probably did.
What are you doing?
It was funny though. I was laughing, but in the same moment I'm laughing, I'm like, I mean, this is supposed to be a horror movie. I mean, we're supposed to be scared. Like we were scared, and it is a sense of terror to have somebody mocking you in your face. But like I said,
there are different ways to go about it.
The critical person is still thinking he had a lot of time where he could have done something even before they came into the room, But anyway, so that like stuff like that, and then the whole Henry possession thing, which I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, that didn't, like I said, it didn't go over well. So stuff like that would make the thing not a perfect 10.
Oh, another thing. Why?
Go ahead.
Never mind. Why didn't he kill Beverly? We've talked about that like a million times, and I still.
We got the answer.
But we didn't.
No, I think we got the answer because she wasn't afraid of him. He probably sensed that the whole time.
Well, not the whole time, because
most of the time. Yeah, obviously not. Yeah, I'm talking about ever since.
She hit her dad over the head in the bathroom.
Ever since he appeared to them, even in the garage, because he went
after her specifically.
Yeah, and he probably even caught on then that she wasn't necessarily that afraid of him. I don't know, but what the heck was I going to say?
Something.
Oh, I've heard some people complain. I've read stuff where people complain about the end, where they hit, his face was crackling off,
away,
and then he was holding on, and then just let himself. I mean, again, to me, stuff like that didn't make no sense. I love that though. It's supposed to be a cliffhanger for a sequel, so.
Because and then there's the whole.
But it was a little like, okay, what
does that
like
mean?
Inconsistent, I guess. But again, I look at it as unpredictability because I don't think stuff they were doing was just
to be there
willy nilly. Yeah, there's some
they're obviously
kind of reasoning.
Using puzzle pieces that we just don't have the corners to fill it in.
Right.
And then I want to know what the song he was singing was. Like I don't know how many times we replayed that scene where we were trying to hear what he was saying. I want to know the lyrics of the song he was singing because there's no way he would just be singing that song before he died. And then the last word was fear, and then he just dropped off. Like, I want to know what song he was singing. Like, it bothers me.
Oh, yeah, and also, the final fight scene in the...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there were some flaws with that, too, because... Now, again, I guess, and I think you might have been the one pointing it out, maybe it was just the fact that slowly but surely their fears were being, kind of lessened, so he just couldn't get anything... he couldn't get any way to get in their heads and make them scared. But you were the one that brought up, like, of all the things he wanted to try to do get at Beverly is to turn into her dad. Like, when she had already proven she wasn't afraid of it.
You are just a punching
It's like he was being desperate at that point.
Yeah, that's
trying to go back to his old bag of tricks. Even turning into the Jeremy thing.
Dude.
Because at that point,
on him.
What's his name got mad then because he threw. Now that one I can understand though, but you're right. I mean, he didn't know at that point that Richie kind of was over that.
Yeah.
But how did you not know that she's not right? Exactly. We all found that out at that moment.
We only knew that he didn't really care about his pills anymore with the whole placebo. Right. That's the only thing we actually knew was that he was like over his mom.
Now I guess if we would have been thinking ahead, we could have said, "Hey, I bet you he's gonna be over that now."
But then we didn't know what the pills are for either. We figured they were for like anxiety or paranoia, but I figured they might have just been like. For something completely different, because he also had like an inhaler. He had like 20 different types of pills. So I didn't know what the pills were actually for. It didn't happen until like that scene where I figured out, maybe they're for like fear, and then it was like.
Well, no, I don't think they were for fear.
Or not for fear, but
They were just because he was just supposed to be this sickly German kid, having weak immune system kid, which in actuality he really isn't. Maybe the asthma's real, but it's almost like the rest of it isn't.
That's just.
So. Yeah, but that was, you pointed that out. Credit, that was like, even at the time, I did think to myself, Like, so you turn into her dad? She's not scared of him no more. So, you know, that
and
was...
then tried to use, even worse after that, tried to use his favorite line, like, "You're still my little girl."
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
no,
yeah, so that's...
I wanted to draw a clown, that's why
So
I
I
had
think...
him.
I mean, there are probably people in the audience who, you know, rah-rahed over that. But I'm just like, we already passed that when
After
she
she
finally
smacked him over
smacked her
her head.
dad in the head. So,
Which, is he dead? Did they say if he were dead? Because I think he
I
was
don't know.
dead. Either he was dead,
He should
or
be.
he was like in court because she said she was moving in with her mom over in Virginia.
Is that what they said?
At the end of the movie, when she was like,
I mean, I
"I'm
know she
moving
said she was
away
moving, but I don't
with
know
my
the
mom."
What the heck was she not living with her mom for in the first place? Then?
That's the whole point. We don't know.
What the heck she doing with her dad? Well, you live.
What am I doing with you?
That's another topic. But yeah, so anyway, so those are kind of things that kept it from being like a perfect 10 for me. So.
And then, like, that's where we kind of get into the giving too much thing. And then there's people like us where we overthink stuff, because some people probably wouldn't even care about that. They would just wait for, they might think about it and just be like, they'll say it in the sequel. Where we're just like, no, we need to know now. Or at least I do. I don't know if you do.
Yeah, I think you do that more than I do. Like I said, I'm okay with not understanding stuff.
For now.
To this day, I love that movie Cloverfield, and that movie made no sense.
I love that movie.
They didn't even get. I mean, you never got an explanation.
Didn't get any answer.
Never any explanation for why a giant, glowing white
bat, albino
lizard bat.
He did kind of look like an albino bat, though.
Was running around New York City,
destroying everything. And why is it always New York? That's my question. Is the government trying to tell us something about New York? There's some going on over there. Five Nights at Freddy's has spoiled me. That's why. Five Nights at Freddy's, that game I told you about, where there's all those games there. Yeah. That's the only reason I'm like, so like, I don't want to say hungry, but like greedy for hints and stuff, because that franchise, the creator of those games used to give us hints like all the time about the next game. So I'm used to getting hints and having new theories, then getting another hint, then having to build or tear down your other theory, then build a new one. Like, that's what I'm used to. It's hard for me to go at a slower pace, because most horror movies, like I said, recently have been based off of just jump scares like The Conjuring and Paranormal Activity. We haven't had a theory horror game in a while. That's why I need to slow my roll. And we haven't had a theory horror game in a while. Even though Black Ops 3 World War II Zombies just came out. But that's not a theory game. It's just a shooting game. But yeah.
All right.
You have no idea what I'm talking about.
I mean, kind of, but not.
You really don't.
I mean, somewhat.
I've heard about what they are. You have no idea what I mean.
Sure.
Like, plot-wise.
Right. Exactly.
I need another dude.
Which I need.
That's not the topic.
I need to buy.
You need to get you.
I need to buy a system and start buying these games, because I would absolutely. I was just thinking. I would absolutely play them.
Because I would.
So that should be a goal for this Christmas when stuff starts going on.
We need to start on Resident Evil first. That's a good game franchise.
True. I've always heard that.
I just have a problem with the most recent game, but it's not the topic.
All right, so thanks for tuning in, or if you are tuning in, this will be posted on YouTube. So
how? We don't even have a YouTube channel.
I do. Yeah. Yep. I'll probably make up a new one though, because my current YouTube channel is about music. So my music. So.
And we still need to make Daddy Daughter Reviews, and then we still need to make my channel. You have a lot of stuff on our plate.
We'll have something, and then start doing these more often.
Should we wait to make my channel until I get a laptop in December?
That would make sense too. All right, we're getting into topics that y'all don't even care about.
But there's not spoilers.
It'll be a good time to go. Till next time. Peace.